I've always wanted to complete and put together my perfect survival world. After coming up with some plans, it can be hard when you're not quite sure where to start. Come along for this journey as we build castle gates, extend massive walls, collect resources, and transform my island into my biggest hardcore project yet. I pretty much live on a big island here, and today I want to start building some castle walls. I want to eventually put a city here. I think right here is a great spot to start. I'm gonna have to do a lot of terraforming. Let's clear this entire section, cut down these trees, and remove these little hills in the land. I have a really awesome plan for this build, and the first thing I needed to do was flatten all of these hills for a bit more space. I'm going to be filling this with a lot of dirt. Yeah, just random stuff from this. Let's start chopping down the rest of these trees. This is good. I will actually need a lot of this oak wood that I will be chopping down. Moving a little to the right, there was a lot of trees to chop down. I ended up farming a lot of wood in the process, which was super nice. And of course, fixing a bit more of the terrain. We flattened this entire area and we can start planning out how we're going to build our wall. So I'm going to do that. I have 4 towers so far, and these gaps here, I'm going to fill them in with this dirt just to make it all level. So I'm going to do that. There you go, very nice. With this complete, I need to fill the shulker box with some resources so I can start building this thing. This is all that we have so far. I'm gonna need a lot more than this. I'm still gonna need a lot of different resources. Okay, there we go. Underneath this tree, I can find a lush biome. Let's dig down. I want to use a fair bit of moss blocks in this build. Holy mobs, that is a lot of mobs down there. Oh my god. One's blue. Oh wow, my sword is so good. Okay. There's so many. Okay, we found the lush biome. I'm gonna farm up quite a bit of this. I think 4 stacks should be enough. I'm gonna have lots of mossy textures in the wall. I needed quite a bit of wood, so I farmed up a bunch of that. I'm really glad I have all this iron. Actually going to need quite a lot, like iron bars and some chains. We need to strip all these spruce logs. I finished gathering up everything I'm going to need for our first main big tower. This took quite a while to get all of, but now we can at least start building. I'm gonna be using lots of moss blocks. I think it's gonna look pretty cool. This will be the first time I actually get to use moss blocks in some of my builds. It's a little bit overdue considering it just looks so good. The main block palette I really wanted to use was tough and tough bricks, as well as iron bars for the windows, gathering in some leaves for that overgrown kind of feel, and moving up towards the top, I used some lighter colored blocks, which I think just looks so good. For the roof, I really incorporated a lot of barrels and small details like signs and trapdoors to add kind of a unique style of roof, and that marks the completion of our first tower, and now it's time to work on the smaller of the two. I think it looks amazing. We may as well start and build the second tower, and then we can connect them for our gate in the middle, like an arch gate here. It's gonna be really cool. I ran out of tuff, so I went down into the mines to farm some more. We're probably going to be collecting a lot of tuff during this video. We farmed a few stacks of tuff. I think this should be enough. I think I'm going to be needing a lot of wood. Back to stripping logs. Let's get started on the second tower. Remove this cobblestone. We don't need this anymore. Just like the first tower, we're going to be keeping everything pretty similar. Of course, using the same block palette. It was a little bit tricky to make this tower a bit similar considering it was 4x4 instead of like an even number. And yes, you may be wondering what the purpose of this entire build is. I really want my island to look more fortified and taken over. And I figure if I surround it with big gates, then I can build an awesome city in the middle for all my villagers. You know, to make them the home they deserve. Anyways, our second tower is basically complete now. There you go, that looks better. It is time to bring our 2 towers together with an arch for our castle gate. This part was really fun to build. I spent some time using the same block palettes to blend everything together, as well as I want to put a ledge up at the top here so you can stand and look out over the wall and pretend you're a knight defending. With that complete, our grand gate entrance is complete. I think it turned out amazing. Oh my god. Okay, I'm loving how this is turning out. We have our proper gate. We need a lot of trapdoors once again. A lot of shelves in this build. And we need more fence. There we go. I have everything to start expanding the wall. It requires quite a lot of resources. The goal is to take it all the way to one of these side towers over here, and so on for the other side. It's gonna be sick. I'm going to plan the shape of the wall. I'm gonna include these indents or maybe some archways. We are building this out of tuff. I was very excited to actually start building some walls to surround our land, and I came came up with this design featuring these arches, and I think it looks really cool. It really makes the wall feel more alive. If you guys have plans to build walls in your worlds, I find it's a good idea to kind of build inwards. It like makes them more 3D. Near the top of our wall, I wanted to make the same walkway so you could look out. I think it would be really cool if I ended up connecting the entire top so you could walk all the way around. Coming around the back side, I added these wooden beams to support the walkway. We have this really cool walkway up here. You can look over the wall. Oh my god, I cannot wait to finish this. I'm going to need like the smallest amount of granite possible. So I'm just gonna grab like maybe a stack just so I won't need to grab it later. And we're back here again gathering more wood. Time to start working on our smaller tower. I want something definitely not as big as these towers, but we'll see. I spent some time coming up with a design for an even smaller tower that I'll use later on as a connector for all my wall segments. These smaller towers served an important purpose in our kingdom, making sure the guards and the knights or anyone who stayed in them so they could look out and protect the land and the kingdom, which means we will be building a lot of these upcoming a bit later on in the video. This is just so I can establish a bit of lore for these towers. I used the one piece of granite. We didn't really need that much. I made it quite a lot smaller than our other two towers. These are like, you know, our off pillars. I think that looks pretty cool. I can't wait to build a bridge here that goes to the gate. It's gonna be so cool. We need to acquire a few more vines. And yes, back to the mines to collect even more tuff. Yeah, I was here for quite some time. Oh my god, that is a lot of pillagers. This is like the 5th time these guys have came out of nowhere. Damn, they do not stand a chance. And now moving on to the right side, we basically just need to copy exactly what we did, which I'm afraid we're gonna have to do a lot just to finish this perimeter. I think I underestimated how much time this would actually take, so I'm glad you guys are here along for this journey with me. Right side is complete. I finished it off by connecting another small tower to bring the walls together just before we can start building diagonally alongside the river. I'm honestly so impressed with myself. It just looks so good from the front. It is time to start expanding the wall. I have to clear down this entire forest. We need to get rid of every single one of these trees. What even is this oak tree? These ones are always a pain to cut down. We cut every tree down around here. Now I can really plan how I want to expand this wall. Yeah, so let's figure that out. This is my first time ever building diagonally. I tried to keep the same design for the wall, but it's a bit weird building it. Minecraft just seems to like things boxy. Just down to the right, we had to do a bit more terraforming, making some space for our wall. And here is from the back side, just so you guys can see the wooden support beams, making sure the wall is sturdy. I tried to keep like the same kind of indent. I think it turned out okay, so let me know what you guys think. The amount of crafting I have to do for all of this stuff, it's like an endless amount of stuff. Fun. We are officially on our 3rd of many small towers. It was a bit awkward connecting to the diagonal wall, but I figured it out and it lines up pretty nicely. Let's continue extending our wall around the island. I think we're about halfway. We still have a long way to go. Yes, I'm excited. It's looking so good. We're going all the way over there and then we have to do it for the other side as well. Yeah, it's a lot of work. As you know, these walls will be protecting a big medieval city in the center with the purpose of protecting all of our villagers, and I can't wait to show you guys how that turns out at the very end. With that being said, we are pretty much done our 4th tower of many. We have a lot more to build. Oh my gosh. Before we can keep expanding our wall, I want to fill this in and add a layer of dirt. I'm gonna plan it along the outside. Yes, kind of like that. After I had planned out and shaped how I want my terrain to look, I spent some time filling it in. I want to make the entire area look like this. I really want an open Skyrim kind of feel. I haven't really built anything this big before. Definitely the biggest project I have tackled so far. Boom, more wood acquired. More gates, stack of trapdoors, so much crafting. I just finished crafting everything up. Now I can hopefully finish the rest of this wall to our little side piece over here. Let's get building. Only like the 100th time I've had to fight pillagers. I can really just stand here and hit them. Sorry guys, thanks for your bottle though. You may be wondering how far we're actually building this wall. See that hillside on the right? The goal is to connect it to there. So I kept expanding diagonally as well as building our 5th tower. I was really starting to get the hang of putting these together, especially after the 5th one. My favorite part definitely being the roof. I'm trying to come up with a really small kind of pillar design here, just so we have a guide point to connect our wall to. Just to get everything connected, it's going to be a bit easier this way. It is finally coming together. connecting the last section of wall to the hillside, and I couldn't be happier with how this is turning out. It just looks so sick. I had a feeling I would run out of moss blocks, so I'm here to grab a little bit more. We got our moss. Maybe enough? I'm really glad I have this wheat farm down here. I'm gonna need a bit of wheat so I can make my packed mud for my mud bricks. Using the dirt I collected earlier, I expanded the land for a bit more space before I could start building up the left side of our wall. I continued to add land as I wanted to bring the wall all the way to the corner of the island before I establish our 6th tower. We have a tiny bit of a problem. I want to flatten a bunch of this to continue our wall. Let's get started doing that, but just to make sure our wall stays relatively level. At least we have this really good shovel to speed this process up. That took so long, oh my gosh. It looks so much better. I finished the 6th and final tower of our wall. It's been a long journey building these things, and I'm kind of happy I'm finally finished with them. Before I can actually finish off the wall, there's this weird indent here, so I'm gonna fill this in with all the dirt that I collected, just because it's kind of awkward. Using all the dirt I collected, I patched this indent in the hillside to level things out, just to make sure they connect exactly how I want them to. We are approaching the home stretch with our wall. We just need to connect it to the hillside. I'm excited. Just like the left side, this is the final segment I need to connect. It's been a long journey so far. Our entire perimeter is now surrounded by castle walls. It took a long time. Our castle wall perimeter is finally complete. That took a very long time. This thing is absolutely massive. I can't believe I built this. Before we actually start building this city, I need to repair my tools. So I'm over here at my Enderman farm. Yeah, let's get all this XP and repair all of our tools. There we go, all repaired. Let's get out of here. I'm gonna need a lot of things to start working on this. One of those main resources will be deep slate. I want that to be the main roof. Let's head down to the mines and farm up a ton of that. I'm gonna be using it for like the roofs on every single house. And commence the time lapse, we are filling the shulker box. Deep slate acquired. I have a lot of work to do since we're building our city. I want to flatten a bit of these hills, make them look a bit nicer. They're kind of random at the moment, and we need to fill some of these holes. It's kind of absurd how much ground I actually have to remove for this. This is at least gonna take me a few days, but it'll look cool, right? It took me a very long time to terraform and remove all the stone and dirt to fill in with grass blocks. We're making good progress. Oh, it's gonna suck clearing all this stone. We are almost complete. All I have left to do is actually place the grass blocks. This took me a very long time, at least a few hours, but it is looking so much better than it did before. I'm gonna build a main stone path straight all the way down to like my compound over there. Yeah, and we are filling this in with stone bricks. I have like all the building supplies to get this path finished from clearing all that land. Yeah, okay. Let's make it look a little bit better with stone and andesite. Now we just make it look like cheese, making a bunch of holes for our other blocks. So we're putting stone and andesite in here as well. I think it's gonna make it look pretty cool. There you go, and we can just fill it in. Very little, kind of just like this. That already looks so much better. I made some stairs. I'm gonna like throw some indents and cracks in here. And I made some buttons. Gotta add those pebbles on the ground. Boom, path complete. It looks amazing. And our next step is to actually start planning the city. That's gonna take a while, and I'm currently working on it. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see the part 2 to that, make sure you subscribe and drop a like. Goodbye, thanks for watching. I also plan on streaming on Twitch. Follow me here, it'll be the top link in the description. Help me reach 10 followers. Thank you, goodbye.